Going old school, Adam whispered, like he was discussing a summoned demon. You mean old school, like back when people used the term old school? Russell asked, adjusting his silk shirt. Exactly, Adam said. Once Jeff gets a little scotch in him, he'll want you to start to dare him to do stupid things. Like, how much will you give me to steal that cop's horse? As much as the ATM will give me, Russell said immediately. The real danger is when he starts to get physical, Adam warned. Like, fighting, wrestling, hugging. That Jeff sounds a lot more fun than the one we got stuck with, Russell mused. Usually it ends with him doing something stupid, which lands him and whoever he's with in a holding cell. Well, I'd love to be there to watch all this, but unfortunately, I have a date, Russell said, checking his watch. With the homeless girl. Surprisingly deep. Plus, I look like a hero giving her 3 hots and a cot. And back to the shallow end, Adam noted. Saves a lot of money on dates. Your leftovers. Her dinner, Russell grinned. He spotted Jeff approaching the table, a glint in his eye that hadn't been there 10 minutes ago. Jeff slammed a pitcher down. It wasn't beer. It was amber. It was dangerous. All right, Jeff announced, his voice a booming baritone of chaos. Marquis, pitcher of scotch. Adam paled. Old school Jeff had entered the building. Chapter 6. The Tape. Meanwhile, at the wedding reception, Audrey was navigating the treacherous waters of social interaction without her anchor, or her ballast, or whatever nautical metaphor Jeff represented. She watched as a young boy, maybe 10 years old, ran around with a camcorder. He was filming everything. The cake, the guests, and, unfortunately, Audrey adjusting her strapless bra. Hey! Audrey snapped, chasing after him. This mean lady's trying to steal my camera, the kid yelled. No. He dropped it. I was just picking it up for him, Audrey lied to the disapproving crowd. She turned back to the kid, lowering her voice to a hiss. Listen, you little brat. The bride is my boss, so I need you to erase that tape. Now, what's it gonna take? The kid looked her up and down with a precocious sneer. Show me your boobs, Audrey blinked. Excuse me? Show me your boobs, and I'll erase the tape. Absolutely not. One of them? He bargained. Listen, you pervy little twerp. I ought to go tell your mom. You mean Backfat's sister? Audrey paused. The bride, Susan, did have a somewhat unfortunate fit in her dress, but that wasn't the point. How would you like a video of a woman pummeling a mountain of... She stopped. This was a child. A terrible, blackmailing child. Hey, look, Audrey tried a different approach, the maternal instinct she usually suppressed coming to the fore. At your age, it's natural to be curious and want to see our boobs. Not yours. You're kind of flat. What? Audrey gasped. I am not flat, 4 eyes. I just call him like I see him. And I can barely see him. That's my damn strapless bra. It's squishing my girls. Okay, come on, kid. Look, all my friends have seen them, and I haven't. How about this? You erase the tape, and I'll give you some pointers on how to impress girls. The kid considered this. Impress girls? See boobs. That sounds good. Tell me what you got. Audrey sighed. She was negotiating with a terrorist who needed a haircut. Back at the bar, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. The fight on the TV had ended in seconds. He's down! It's over! They haven't even put out the free buffalo wings yet, leaving a vacuum of entertainment that old school Jeff was all too happy to fill. Hey, how much will you give me if I ate all these jalapenos? Jeff asked, eyeing a bowl of green fire on the bar. Nothing, Russell said, bored. Done, Jeff declared, shoving a handful into his mouth. He thinks they're pickle chips, Adam whispered in horror. Jeff's face turned a violent shade of crimson. Oh, burn my mouth. Burn it. Call Jen and see if Audrey's mad at me, Jeff wheezed, chugging scotch to put out the fire, which was chemically the worst possible decision. No, you know what? Have her send a picture, because I can tell just by looking at it, Jeff continued, his logic dissolving. Hey, listen, for a free guy out in the town, you're talking an awful lot about your wife. You know what? Jeff stood up, swaying like a majestic oak in a hurricane. That's it. We're going right now. You and me fighting. Jeff? Whoa! Come on, man, Adam pleaded. You don't want to fight? You're not sure, right? I love Rusky. I want to pick you up. Before Russell could protest, Jeff hoisted him into the air like a sack of grain. Don't. Okay, that's good. Let me down, Russell shrieked, his dignity evaporating. Keep him up there long enough while I run the table and win the big bet, Adam shouted, seeing an opportunity to hustle the pool players who had been eyeing them. It was a perfect storm of chaos. Jeff was wrestling Russell, Adam was hustling locals, and somewhere in the city, Audrey was teaching a 10-year-old how to woo women so he wouldn't leak footage of her adjusting her cleavage. It was, by all accounts, a typical Tuesday for the gang. To be continued in Part 2. The Rules of the Game. A novelization by Gemini. Chapter 1. The High-Definition Mirage. The Manhattan skyline was a jagged crown of glass and steel, shimmering under the late afternoon sun. Inside Jeff and Audrey Bingham's apartment, the atmosphere was considerably less majestic. It smelled of stale hops, buffalo wing sauce, and the faint, a lingering scent of Audrey's expensive lavender candles, a scent currently losing the war against the aroma of two middle-aged men sitting on a leather sofa. Jeff Bingham leaned back, his eyes glazed with the hypnotic glow of his new 70-inch high-definition television. To Jeff, this wasn't just an appliance, it was a sanctuary. Every blade of grass on the football field was visible, every drop of sweat on a linebacker's brow was rendered in terrifyingly crisp detail. That was great, man, Adam Rhodes said, blinking as the credits of the game rolled. He looked like a man who had just stepped out of a dark cave into a desert noon. I love watching games on your TV. It's like, I'm actually there, but without the risk of being stepped on by a professional athlete. Jeff let out a satisfied grunt. Well, you keep bringing that six-pack admission charge, Adam, and you're welcome anytime. He took a long pull from his beer. I'm telling you, once you go HD, there's no coming back. When I watch my regular low-def TV in the bedroom now, I want to stab myself in the eyes with a fork. Adam chuckled nervously. Well, don't do that. Then you won't be able to find your way over here with the beer, and our friendship would effectively be over. Adam was the younger of the two, perpetually caught in the earnest, slightly naive stage of his first serious engagement. He looked at Jeff as a sort of cynical Yoda, a man who had survived the trenches of marriage and emerged with his soul somewhat intact, or at least well compensated by electronics. See you later, Adam said, grabbing his jacket. Oh hey, I just saw Jennifer in the hallway. She's got a present for you. Jeff's eyebrows shot up. A gift from his wife's best friend usually meant one of two things: a double date he didn't want to go to, or a scented soap that smelled like a summer breeze but felt like sandpaper. I'll bet she does. What is it? Well, I'm not going to ruin the surprise, Adam said, a mischievous glint in his eye. But make sure you look excited when she gives it to you. She spent a lot of time on this. Excited? Adam, I'm a married man. The only things that excite me now are uninterpreted sleep and finding a parking spot in front of the building. Chapter 2. The Satchel of Doom. Later that evening, the gift arrived. It wasn't soap. It wasn't a ticket to a botanical garden. It was a messenger bag. To Jennifer and Audrey, it was a sleek, professional accessory for the modern executive. To Jeff, it was a purse. It's not a purse, Jeff, Audrey said, standing in the kitchen as she watched him hold the leather strap with the gingerly touch of someone handling a live grenade. It's a messenger bag. Very high-end. Jennifer saw you taping up that old backpack of yours and thought you needed to look like a real grown-up. A real grown-up? Jeff echoed, sliding the strap over his shoulder. He looked in the hallway mirror and winced. I look like a bike messenger who lost his bike and decided to take up knitting. You look fabulous, Jennifer chimed in, appearing from the hallway with a glass of Chardonnay. It's got a padded shoulder strap, Jeff. And look at the stitching. It's masculine. Masculine? Jeff turned to the side. If by masculine you mean likely to get me beaten up by a group of construction workers, then sure, it's a triumph. Across town, Russell Dunbar, the city's most prolific and unrepentant bachelor, was having a very different kind of evening. Russell lived in a world of sleek lines, expensive suits, and a rotating door of women who usually realized their mistake by the second appetizer. He was currently at the diner, sitting across from a woman named Claire. She was beautiful, had a voice like velvet, and was currently eating a bagel as if it were her last meal on Earth. I'm glad I decided to cut through the park yesterday, Russell said, leaning forward with his best I'm deeply listening face. Or I never would have seen you playing guitar. Claire smiled, a bit of cream cheese on her lip. Yeah, sorry I didn't know that song you requested. 9 to 5? Is that a Dolly Parton thing? It's a classic, Russell lied effortlessly. He didn't care about the song. He cared about the fact that Claire seemed utterly unimpressed by his